teacher go to school?
And here's your name.
What do you think of what's going on right now, mate?
These evil little invisible parasites.
Satan-worshipping Freemason moron.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
We're not run by factions.
Get the fuck out of camera!
There are much more powerful international forces in play.
Is this pink eye? Is this what pink eye is? I don't fucking know what's happening.
Please go outside and look at the me quickly.
It's been crazy, guys, but guess what? It's how it is, mate.
Mate, because I want to do you slowly.
But I ain't spending any time on it.
Welcome to the Conditional Release Program, a podcast that delves into the netherworlds of cults, crims, and con artists. I'm Jack the Insider, otherwise known as Peter Hoisted for tax purposes.
And I'm Joel Hill, and this week we're bringing you a classic Conditional Release Program news episode. We have Epstein, we have Nazis, we have SovCits, we have Pete.
Yes, it's been a little while since we had a look at the news, and there's been a lot of it. While the United States continues to dismantle itself to be sold for parts, in Australia we are blessed with a comparatively boring centrist government, very secretive government that seems to be quite busy but just governing. No chemtrail inquiries. When? No bizarre theories on the cause of autism. Just begging for it right now. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the coalition is a smouldering disgrace, unfit for even minor party purpose. Overseas, Reform is hitting govern in their own right numbers in the polls, and Trump has been joking again about a run in 2028. We know this because there is a line of quality baseball caps direct from the brainwave of Eric Trump. In all this chaos, folks, we need to take a moment to look inward and feel a sense of inner peace.
That's right. Things aren't so bad. Well, actually, no, they are. Albo is a treasonous traitor who should be shot into space using one of Elon Musk's rockets, of course. Got to keep it in the family. And I think this should probably happen after a solid flensing at Federation Square.
Yes.
Yes. Look, Jack, I can't tell you why I'm so upset. I can't think of a reason why I'm so upset, but I am incredibly upset.
Very angry. Yes,
yeah.
You are.
Treason.
And
Treason.
I'm just wondering how our security agencies might view the thought of a prime ministerial flensing at Fed Square. We might be on a watch list now, Joel.
I think they're pretty busy with other shit, Jack. I think they're pretty busy with people who are saying very unpleasant things about Albanese with very strange reasons that I'll never quite understand.
Look, yes, a prime ministerial flensing still going on, metaphorically speaking, in the minds of a number of Australians. Quite a lot, actually, because despite continuing his small target strategy of attempting to please almost everyone in the electorate, there are still people out there who fume at the sound of his name. Damn you, Elbow!
Yep, they really are frothing at the mouth. And look, it is almost impossible to find a policy that cookers will just agree with. This is why you can't pander to them, because they're just ungovernable. But they have this opposition defiant disorder that just prevents them from being just sort of happy with the good things. And then they just become irrationally furious about random other shit. The worst part is, usually it's stuff they've made up themselves. It's not even true, and they're upset. Like, it just, I'm so glad I don't live in their brains. But
the stuff that offends them that they make up themselves. That's keeping them going at the moment.
Isn't it special? Because they've just got nothing to be upset about. But one of the policies I've got my eye on is the freezing of the beer excise on craft and independent breweries. And I don't like this policy. A lot. It's a fucking great policy. I mean, like, let's face it, like, craft breweries should not be on the same playing field as major conglomerates who are able to fuck with the market. And look, I don't actually give a flying fuck how much a case of Carlton costs. And to be honest, I think an economic disincentive to drink fizzy piss is probably good for everyone involved. But people like our good friends at CB Co need a little bit of help. Like many brewers, a lot of them are going under. So
maybe it's because there are too many of them, Joel. I'm just devil's
maybe
advocate here.
And maybe some of them are shit, but CBCO are not. And if they survive, we'll keep getting free beer. I mean, it'll be good for everyone. So please signal your support for the freeze on excise tax any way you can. Send a letter to your MP or whatever. I don't really give a shit. But in the meantime, the most effective thing you can do is support CBCO and independent brewers in general. And if you want to do that at a 10% discount, chuck in CRP10 at the checkout online, and you'll get some bloody nice craft beer, because it is really good. I'm drinking their RPA right now. I fucking love it. It's such a good beer.
And I'm throwing another and in there. If throwing your money at CBCO to summon the high-vis tin fairy from Australia Post doesn't drain your wallet dry, please consider throwing us a few bucks on the Patreon to keep this thing of ours sustainable. La Cosa Nostra. It helps a lot. Patreon.com / the conditional release program. That's where you'll find it. You also get access to Black Label episodes with lots of hush-hush and naughty things we can't say publicly. Shh.
Yes. Smaller audience means less concern, and it's also not, anyway, it's good. And look, to top off this rather long intro, we want to send our love to Soz and Sandy, who are taking a break from Tinfoil Tales at the moment to focus on those near and dear to them, which is very reasonable because podcasting is a lot of work. It's really, really hard to juggle everything, juggling life and work and family, and then having time to watch Monica Smith endlessly babble on a video about bullshit and write a podcast script and then produce the podcast and then fucking edit the... no. Yeah, so I completely understand where they're coming from, and I just wish them the best.
Yeah, look, we send our love to the girls, unconditional love. They've been a genuine force for good in this space. Excellent research, excellent journalism. It's really investigative journalism. And,
it is. It's fucking great.
If you haven't already, or you've perhaps missed a few, go and have a look, listen to the show. It's just fantastic what they're able to do. It's actually quality investigative journalism, I should say.
Yeah, it's very, very good. They go and they get the facts out of the babble, the live streams, the endless nonsense. See, I just take stuff from text. I don't watch videos. I don't type that shit. But they
so
put
we
it in
send
hard yards.
Every best wish to the girls, and we'll be keeping in touch with them. They're not just, good at what they do podcast-wise. They've also become very good friends of ours.
Yeah, we love them. So big hugs, guys. Just go and, touch grass. It's good for you. Trust me. This is a very painful game at times. So it's now time to jump back into the swamp. The one Trump promised he would drain, but instead decided to flood with shit and used adult diapers. It is, as per usual, the Conditional Release Program news. The Epstein scandal won't go away, and it grows ever closer to Donald Trump.
Inch by inch,
inch by inch. There's like 3 of those, as far as I've heard from Stormy Daniels.
Well,
anyway.
they do favour the imperial measurement system, Joe.
Such a shit system. It makes no sense.
Look, our listeners probably already know this, but what was released last week was a trove of documents held by the Epstein estate and handed to the US Congress under subpoena, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the Epstein files. It's the Epstein estate documents that have been held essentially by Jeffrey Epstein's lawyers since he passed away so tragically. The old Christmas decoration. They don't hang themselves, folks.
Oh, got him.
Well, yes, of course. We won't be able to go to the third umpire, unfortunately, on Jeffrey, because they lost the tape. Well, it just wasn't recorded or something happened.
They edited it like 19 times.
Anyway, it was a bit of a disaster, so we don't quite know.
Yeah, listen to some Dare Call It Conspiracy. I'm pretty sure they sort of dissected that whole thing. Oh, bless. But look, there is a lot going on here. There's something about whether Putin has photos of Trump blowing bubba, and people are sort of drawing straws and try to say that might be
I saw that
Clinton.
rumor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is just like offhand talk between two people. I'm not putting too much stock in it, but because you could say a lot of things about Donald Trump, but I just don't see him sucking a dick. I don't see it. And that's not like an issue. Like if he wants to suck a penis, I'm down with it. Like
he'd be terrible at it too.
He would be so selfish.
He wouldn't get into it.
He'd be ticking a box, and he'd just be like hoping that you'd be like eventually like, okay, I'm done now. You'd be like, oh, thank God. That felt like work.
Thank God that's over.
What a prick.
All right, Donald. Well, I'll see you around.
He's not a giver. Jeez, he's not a giver in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah, I think a blowjob from him would be fucking rubbish. Anyway, we'll move away from that.
Where are we? Look, the doc drop featured communications between Jeffrey Epstein and a journalist, Michael Wolff, who you may have heard of. We've got various spellings of his name that I've written in just some lazy hands. But anyways, WOLFF.
Yes.
He's an interesting character. Not really a journalist in my view, and we'll get to that, but a good old-fashioned muckraker.
Mm-hmm.
He's addicted to gossip and had a dodgy relationship with Epstein, running essentially PR for the Lord of Pedos. Who's the Lord of Pedos?
He was very good at it, to be fair.
That might be someone else in England. But anyway,
yes.
He's the Lord of Pedos in the United States.
Mountbatten pedo to you.
And this is, he was communicating with Epstein during the days of Trump's first term.
Yeah, that's happened. So
this comes from the benighted Beeb. Sorry, Joel, let me introduce this to you.
Let's do it. Michael Wolff, 72, is an American journalist and columnist, and as well as a prolific author of books on the wealthy and the famous. Fire and Fury, the first of several books spanning Trump's first stint as US president, came out in 2018 with descriptions of a dysfunctional White House and salacious details about the US commander-in-chief. Trump said it was full of lies.
Yeah. Which
I trust him.
Not quite. Full of lies. Could lead to a witch hunt.
Yeah. The new batch of files related to Jeffrey Epstein shed light on a relationship that appears to indicate a correspondence between Wolff and the late convicted sex offender. Attention is focused primarily on one of the emails in which Wolff appears to give Epstein advice in relation to Trump, as Trump was campaigning for the White House for the first time. Wolff wrote to Epstein in 2015 to notify him that CNN was planning to ask Trump as a presidential candidate about his relationship with Epstein, and Epstein replied, quote, "If we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be?" And the two go on to discuss a strategy with Wolff writing, quote, "I think you should let him hang himself."
Well, what happened in the end?
You are on fire today, son.
Anyways, no journalist with his or her salt would use a source in that way. For a start, that's why he's not a journalist. It's got beyond chronicling, but imposing himself on events.
He's involved,
So you've got to be really careful of these guys journalists who think they're players. Call themselves journalists and they're players. And of course, Epstein was happy to use up this experienced journalist as a kind of PR consultant. So he was able to get what would be a fairly expensive service provided to him for zero.
Yeah, fair.
And because in a separate email from October 2016, and where are we now? This is just before the election. Wolff offered Epstein a chance to sit for an interview that could, quotes, finish Trump. Responding to the release in a video posted to Instagram, Wolff said, "Some of those emails are between Epstein and me," which is correct English, by the way, with Epstein discussing his relationship with Donald Trump.
Interesting. Quote, "I have been trying to talk about this story for a very long time now." And in fact, Wolff disclosed before the latest presidential election in the US that he had interviewed Epstein periodically for Fire and Fury and released tapes of those conversations.
Yeah, that was the book that came out in 2016, I think, or within a year or two.
Did it say 2018? I think, 2018.
Yeah, 2018. Sorry, it was an analysis of Trump as president. And Wolff has made some big claims over the journey. The biggest is that Epstein showed him two photographs. This is one I always get back to. The first is described as a group of young women. Wolff says he does not know the ages of the girls or young women in the photograph, but he hints they are underage. They are topless and hanging around DJT, Donald the Trumpster indeed, with one of those youngsters sitting on his lap. There's a fair bit of canoodling going on according to Wolff's description of the photo. And the next photo, and again, Wolff claims he has seen these photos, is from the same scene where Trump is standing up and there is a wet patch around his groin and the topless girls are laughing at him.
Yeah, that's...
Now, either these photos don't exist and Wolff is making it all up, or they do exist and were seized by the FBI during a raid on Epstein's NYC brownstone. Wolff has explained that the pics were kept in Epstein's safe. You see, that's where he claims he saw them and saw them being returned to the safe. I don't know that we describe Epstein as a brownstone. That's my bad, folks. There's a lot more, a lot nicer than that.
Yes. So as we sort of glanced over earlier, Kash Patel has the files. So if the FBI did the raid, Kash Patel's got the files. So they're not coming out. Anyway, look, there are some timelines to remember here. Trump and Epstein did fall out around 2004, and Trump recently said that he banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago because Epstein was stealing his people. Staff at the resort, including Virginia Giuffre or Roberts back in the day. Who committed suicide last year. So, yeah, I mean, like, it's a bit sus. Like, you're stealing 14-year-old girls who works at the spa.
You're stealing the 14-year-old girl who works at my salon.
What are you stealing them for?
What's she doing?
What's she doing that for, mate?
She's just
what's the plan, mate?
Running the towels around out of the dry-off, giving a fold up, that sort of thing.
She's actually very good at Excel spreadsheets. No, it was obviously sexual assault.
That's as far as we need to think about that whole thing.
So obvious.
Anyway, Epstein has a different take on the fallout, and that's been told by Wolf, and it's that Epstein was seeking to buy a house in South Palm Beach, a cozy little home away from home known as Maison de l'Amitié.
Ugh.
Absolute stonker of a house, by the way. It's been torn down since. But he got gazumped on that deal by Trump, and he'd been in conversations with Trump about, this is what Wolf says, about the value and what he should bid and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah,
but, okay. Trump gazumped him on the purchase, took the purchase, then on-sold the property to a Russian oligarch, Dmitry Rybolovlev.
Rybolovlev?
Rybolovlev. Yeah, Dmitry Rybolovlev.
Yeah.
He's big into fertilizers.
Good.
He's actually a fertilizer oligarch.
Yeah, good.
And he sold the property to this Russian oligarch for $95 million. That's the Trumpster, in a manner that would be a sort of red flag for money laundering. You know.
Yeah. You'd think so.
He basically, there was not enough money changing hands on the first bid, but there was in the second when he on-sold it.
Yeah.
In 2013, Palm Beach County appraisal of the house valued it at $59.8 million, not 95. It's a lot. That's
a discrepancy.
Maybe they're just foreigners and they got overwhelmed by all
the numbers. How many rubles?
Look at the American way of life.
Yeah.
Anyway, the house has since been demolished, as I say. It's an absolute stonking mansion, but knocked down now. And Rybolovlev broke the property into 3 lots, selling 2 for a total of $72 million. The remaining lot with a list price of $42 million remains on sale. That's more recently, folks. That it's been
gone up,
cut up, but he's still struggling to get his 95 back. Anyway, overall, the point is that anyone who is looking for evidence of Trump's pedophilia, organised by Epstein, should know that it's going to happen. That it happened prior to 2004.
Yeah, not since, because that's
because of the falling out. Yeah.
Yeah, not to say he's a clean skin since. It's just not related to Epstein. So the Epstein files includes documents relating to Epstein's conviction in 2008, which he was indicted on solicitation he was indicted on solicitation in 2006.
Yeah.
Courts take time, and the kid glove treatment he was afforded then, and what he was up to beforehand. And there is a possibility that they will be released at some point next year, albeit heavily redacted, or we wait for the midterms and hope for a good result. And then it will get very heavy.
Yeah, it could get very heavy if the numbers go the Democrats' way. There will be Senate inquiries. There will be House committee inquiries, these sorts of things.
Yeah.
And it obviously depends on the outcome of the midterms. But yes, there was some really sort of stinky stuff around the way that Epstein was treated in his first conviction in the first decade of the 21st century. And there's no doubt. I mean, he served his time basically in a sheriff's cell where he'd just sort of turn up in the morning and leave, he 9 to 5 it really.
Yeah.
And then pop back home for the evening.
And Ghislaine Maxwell's having a fucking time of her life at the moment. She's not serving time. That's an Arrested Development gag.
Oh, apparently she is. She's pretty happy with her new digs. Whew.
I'm not serving time. I'm doing the time of my life.
Thank God. That place you had me was terrible.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's bullshit. Like, the way in which Donald has his, the ability to, twist his arm behind his back is, just a little bit of dirt or a little bit of fucking quid pro quo, and he will reward you lavishly if he has to.
Look, as a side note, Joe, the bullshit artist formerly known as Prince Andrew has now lost his title, with more to come on Epstein. He's in a fair bit of bother. They're really starting to look at his time as a sort of trade commissioner, where things were, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, and his grifter ex-wife, she's actually looking at being evicted, as is he, from the Royal Lodge. Of course, Andrew's being sent to a cottage. It will be a sort of 5-bedroom cottage.
He's going to be fine. Yeah.
He's going to be okay. Basically, don't feel the need to donate. Is my advice at this stage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, ignore the GoFundMe.
But his grifter wife won't go to Sandringham. She's thought she might go and live with one of her daughters who lives in Portugal.
Yeah,
and of course she's no longer the Duchess of York. She's merely known as Sarah. Or that old crone, what's her name?
Or, the Duchess, formerly known as York.
The amusing thing is Sarah has got a book coming out.
Oh, that's nice.
Or maybe she doesn't. She's authored more than 50 books.
Okay.
Many of them children's titles, presumably to keep the contractual word count down. Can I just knock it out in 100 words, please?
So cruel.
A press statement in Bookseller originally shared that the former Duchess of York was scheduled to release her latest book, Flora and Fern, Kindness Along the Way. Oh.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Well, I don't, we've got to read the book, Joe.
No, I don't.
I don't. Because it hasn't been released. It was supposed to be released on October 9, but someone in marketing said, you know what?
Maybe we'll postpone this.
Maybe we keep this one in the warehouse for a little while.
Yeah.
A press statement in a bookseller originally shared that the former Duchess of York was scheduled to release her latest book. I just said that. As of this weekend, it is no longer available on the website. So it's basically, let's just hold up on that one. Nelson IQ book data confirmed to the BBC that it has been, quote, withdrawn from sale, unquote, at the request of the publisher.
How unfortunate. Deeply troubling. Well, in one news report, one news.com.au report, Sarah is said to be deeply distressed and on edge, bunkered down in her soon-to-be former Windsor mansion, quote, surrounded by unopened Amazon deliveries.
There's an image.
That is grim. That is so grim.
It's a grim, grim vision, and it is further proof, if it were needed, that Jeffrey Epstein is toxic. We actually should start calling. They used to call Brian Burke. You remember Brian Burke, the former WA Premier, had, what should we say? I think he's dead now, so we don't have to worry about it too much.
Oh, good.
But he was something a little bit dodgy, and it became this great scandal. Anyone who actually spoke to him was considered off limits in government.
Okay.
And so he just became known as Toxic Brian.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And
just
now
everything around
I think
him.
we're at Toxic Jeffrey stage. We really are. I mean, he just rubs off. It's like fucking Alien. It's just shooting acid.
I don't know if rubs off is the best thing to... Anyway, it's fine.
Look, I mean, yes, we shouldn't be joking, because at the base of this is the open manipulation of legal girls for prostitution.
Yeah, that's fair.
Procuring, of course, and we should know that because Epstein already been convicted of it. Pimping.
Yes.
That's what Ghislaine Maxwell was doing.
Yes.
You think most people would want to really know what happened there? Wouldn't you just be curious about it?
You'd think so. You'd like to figure that out. And one thing I will do is give a quick plug to a brother podcast of ours, The Dirt Unit, who's recently done a 3-part deep dive on Jeffrey Epstein, which, if you know anything about Brendan, it's not just about Jeffrey Epstein. It goes into all sorts of weird shit, but it's really good. I'm still getting through part 3, and it's really good. Like some of the stuff's really interesting. And one of the points that sort of came to mind then is that he goes into the complicit nature of some of the people who were involved. So not to withdraw from the struggle of a lot of the victims, but a lot of people who were embroiled in this were recruiting and pimping and, creating more victims. And some of the records out there show a real callous disregard for others from some of these people involved. So
a lot of money transferred between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein.
There's a lot going on. And Brennan's bizarre, unique form of ADHD really does a great job on chronicling it. Anyway.
There you go. All righty. Moving on. And this is a story that we actually did touch on a number of months ago. And it just shows that the wheels of justice move slowly.
They do.
The arc of the universe tilts towards justice, but not very quickly.
No, it's an axis.
And so we have just another update to bring you. Warren Tredders 4-time All-Australian, Port Premiership player, former Channel 7 sports guy.
Yeah.
Has now lost his job and his position on the Alberton-based footy club's board.
Tragedy. And this came because Tredders done a podcast.
He's done a podcast.
Whoops. He calls it ballsy.
It was, yeah.
That's
well,
a very...
Sort of is, still is, yeah.
It's quite ballsy to call your own thing ballsy. I want someone to say that I'm ballsy, but I don't want to call myself ballsy. That's kind of embarrassing and not very ballsy. Yeah. Anyway, so back in May, Tredders interviewed a former British soldier, AJ Roberts, who Tredders describes as a truth seeker.
Truth seekers, just out there seeking the truth.
Everyone's a fucking truth seeker as long as you talk nonsense. Yeah. He is also a vicious anti-Semite, blaming the world's woes on the Jews. Not very unique material. And we did the story then as the AFL community was fairly upset with Tredders.
They were a little bit upset.
That's all very unpleasant material to be putting out there, even if a bit ballsy. This forced the club to conduct a governance review, which ultimately requested that Tredders apologise. And Tredders, let's just put this politely, declined to apologise. Mate. Nah, get fucked. Nah, not doing it. And he left the board. What a shame.
Yeah, but the club did have some weasel words for its former champion.
Oh, that's nice.
The club's statement on 31 October said the board wanted to make clear, in its own words, this was a governance matter.
Yes.
Relating to, quote, its expectations, unquote, of directors.
Okay, so here's a quote. It is not and should never be interpreted as a reflection on Warren Treadway's extraordinary contribution to Port Adelaide as a player.
Well, four-time All-Australian Premiership player. He's done it right there. I don't think that was ever really... You know, no one was going to say, well, we're going to have to take those games off you. We're going to have to take those 4 All-Australian jerseys off you. We're going to have to take the Premiership medal off you.
Exactly. And if there was a Jewish conspiracy, we'd all be like, oh, he was a terrible player. I remember that clearly, but no. But look, the club did say later that it received up to 2,000 expressions of support for Tredders on the club socials, which is, it's not bad.
It's not insignificant. Yeah.
You know, it's not a lot.
I guess I was supposed to look this up for my homework, Joel, but I'm going to say they've got sort of 70 to 80,000 members.
Really?
That would be my guess.
I'm gonna guess 40.
A bit higher?
47.
Well,
I'm going to go 47.
The big ones are
wow, I'm so wrong. 78.
Richmond, they're sort of hundreds. How many?
Really? They got hundreds. 78,000 members for Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide has 78,000 members. Holy shit. That's impressive. Well done, them.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think North have like 30.
Tredders Ballsy podcast seemed to have hit a bit of a slowdown recently. Yes. No new product coming out since last September. And we took a look at his numbers. As far as we can tell, Ballsy, often featuring guests on topic as wide-ranging as vaccine skepticism, all the way to pandemic lockdown.
Yeah, really broad church of ideas.
The whole spectrum.
Yeah,
and it's safe to say Ballsy has not been top of the charts, Joe.
No,
Ballsy is not. You know, it was a great idea. That hasn't really taken off.
Well, people are just not ballsy enough to handle Ballsy. That's the problem.
Yeah.
There are a lack of balls.
It was ballsy before its time, really.
It was. I'm only just getting the pun of ballsy. That's bad. I'm very slow. But on YouTube, sort of triple digit numbers. He doesn't have a listen score, which means he's not in the top 10% of podcasts in the world. We have one. Fun. And it's just not very successful.
It's ahead of its time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's not him that sucks. It is the kids that are wrong. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
exactly
100%. Right. So look,
just can't let it go, can they?
That's exactly it. It's 2025, mate.
Really just can't let this go. It's 2025, and we're talking about stuff that happened in 2021 and how outraged we are still about it.
They can't get past it. Because it is the only thing they understand. It is their personality.
Held down and poisoned with the illegal vaccine drug.
Yes, exactly. And if they didn't get the jab, of course, they got the jab by shedding. They got the jab by coercion at a hospital.
Tredders was fine. Tredders was fine before all this.
I drank some fucking apple juice at Royal North Shore and now I've got vaccines. Yeah.
So there you go, folks. Just an update. That's Tredders, jobless, presumably still owing Channel 7 a small fortune in gold doubloons.
Yes. Yes, he did get awarded legal costs.
Legal costs too.
He was...
Might have to go to the Kruger ends there. I'd have to get rattle out a few Kruger ends.
Yes.
And a podcast that no one cares about. He does another one, which is sports-based, Joel.
Okay.
I can't remember the name, and I really don't think it matters.
It's not ballsy enough. That's the problem. Needs more balls.
So there he is, jobless. Got a podcast no one listens to. Have you had enough of the rabbit hole yet, son?
Yeah, how's that whole truth-seeking going for you? Just give it up, Tredders. Just stop blaming the Jews and be a fucking adult. Idiot.
All righty.
Speaking of blaming the Jews.
Well,
they're everywhere.
Well, Damien Richardson has been found guilty of making a Nazi gesture.
Shame.
In inverted commas. The former soapy star turned freedom warrior has been found guilty of performing a Nazi gesture.
Mm-hmm.
We reminded listeners about the trial several months ago.
We did. Richardson, 56 years young, although he looks about 70, attended a national...
He's given up. He's given up the acting.
It's so early. I mean, like, aren't we meant to retire at 70 now? Anyway, like I say, he looks 70, so maybe he's just lying about his age like many good actors do. So Richardson, miraculously 56, attended a National Workers' Alliance soiree on September 14, 2024, and he was the main speaker at an event. It was at the at Urban Street Restaurant. The Urban Street Restaurant? It was someplace in Melbourne. It was organised by white supremacist Matt Trihey, I don't care, and attended by a couple of Nazis, and really easy ones to spot because there was Joel Davis, who has that trademark facial hair, and Blair Cottrell, who takes up 2 seats because he's basically more peptide than person at this point. Bless.
Quite a lot of peptides
he really
in his
is.
system.
Yeah, he's pep-tiring. So previously the court was told it was accepted that Richardson made a gesture, and he kind of did, but he argued it was not a Nazi salute, and if it was a theatrical performance. Trying to just tune into legislation there. Dennis Denuto told him to say that.
He's an actor.
He's an actor.
Well, he was. He's packed it in now, but he was an actor.
He's retired. Yes.
So he's projecting, Joel. He's projecting to the back row. And how does he do that? Right arm in the air.
Just like Elon. My heart goes out to you.
Open palm, face down.
Exactly.
There's no other way.
Or he's trying to block out the lights because he's in a restaurant. This isn't the kind of professional seating there. He's used to professional lighting that understands that having a spotlight in your eyes is very distracting. Yeah. But he wants to see the crowd, so he's just blocking out the top lights.
Just couldn't see. Just got blinded.
Couldn't see and he wants to see Blair Cottrell and his peptides. Understandable.
All he knew was just how to project that gesture for maximum impact.
He's a theatrical guy.
Good on him, man. He hadn't forgotten his training.
No, I'd have trained, I'm sure.
He hadn't forgotten his training as an actor.
Not as a Nazi, as an actor. We must separate the training. Anyway, so Richardson was captured on video throwing his right arm in the air during the ticketed political event held by the National Workers' Alliance, which has a whole bunch of Nazi runes and shit on it. But no, they're definitely not Nazis.
Definitely not Nazis.
And this is an organization whose mission includes things like preserve Western culture and identity and protect family rights and traditions. Doesn't sound Nazi to me.
All seems a bit one Volk, one Reich, one Führer to us.
Yeah, it also seems quite redundant as well. Like preserve Western culture identity. Okay, we're a Western nation with liberal ideals, but that's fine. Protect family rights and traditions. I don't see any issue. Like family tax benefit A and B still exist. We have traditions, like we eat dinners, and I don't know what the fuck.
They really mean take the vote off women. That's what they mean.
That is. And look,
that's essentially what they mean by protecting family rights and traditions.
I'm not here to say that's a bad idea. Yeah, it's fucking pathetic.
Things went to hell in a handbasket.
Once you let those broads in the polling booth. Fucking dumbest shit ever. So the magistrate did cut Richardson some slack. Context is everything. And Magistrate Justin Foster found that the former actor had not engaged in the same anti-Semitic views expressed by others at the event, like Peptide Boy. And
Not as bad anti-Semitism.
Not as bad, which is interesting because, like, I guess the benchmark is a photo of Hitler in every classroom. Or, anyway. So he had been mocking the age or himself when he made the salute.
The magistrate.
Okay. That's a weird quote. The age or himself. So at the restaurant with Nazis, Richardson had been on a rant about the age, claiming the Nine Media masthead had labelled him a racist in order to silence his extreme far-right views. I mean, if it quacks. The articles in question were not made available to the magistrate.
Yeah, I think that's important. Because,
that is weird.
He's laid his defence down without actually providing... Anyway, go on.
The actual evidence. Anyway,
yeah.
I don't think he's being represented by the best. Anyway, Magistrate Foster noted that Richardson had spoken with pride about his grandfather, who said he had fought Nazis. Interesting. Now, that should be fairly easy to check by the magistrate, who would have, people to deal with this. Should be able to request the granddad's name, check the service record, just get the tip staff to do it, mate.
Yeah, so we can't really do it because we don't know if it's maternal or paternal grandfather.
No, we don't know enough to do
but
this.
But I often hear this stuff, my grandfather, whatever it is, fought the Nazis. And you would have to be in the second AIF. Right? That was Australia's army. That basically they're the ones who essentially engaged with Nazis in North Africa. So that the second AIF in North Africa, and they were dragged out of there and they were sent back and retrained and pushed into Papua New Guinea. That's essentially the history of the second AIF. It's called the second because it's the Second World War. The first AIF is what you call the army in the First World War. And it's possible, of course, that his granddad had volunteered for service with the UK's RAF, which is another place where a lot of Australians did serve as a member of a flight crew. But other than that, that's pretty much the extent of Australia's soldiers or airmen's, sailors' engagement in the European theatre of World War II. As an aside, just a little bit of trivia, if you don't mind. And this has nothing to do with Richardson or his grandfather.
Good disclaimer.
So just a lovely piece of history. 3 members of the second AIF who had been captured in North Africa turned on their countries and the fight against fascism to join the Nazis. There's a little-known history of a group of less than 50 men who fought under the SS banner in a small regiment known as the British Freikorps, and fought with the Waffen-SS.
Charming.
They saw combat, the British Freikorps, they saw combat in the dying days of the European conflict in 1945. Survivors were captured by the Americans in Schwerin near, I think it's pronounced Schwerin, near Hamburg. Many faced court-martials. At least one was hanged. But the 3 Australians were quietly sent home and demobbed at Fremantle in 1945.
Interesting.
So nothing to do with Richardson, but there is an Australian link with the SS, service.
He may have fought
nothing
with
to do
the
with
Nazis.
him at all, but Australia had at least 3 soldiers in the Waffen-SS job.
Yeah, that is...
Anyway, back to Damo and his gestures.
Let's get back to Damo. According to Age, since retiring from acting in 2021, and retiring is a word that is used on advice.
It's a very open term.
Yeah, I think he may have resigned from acting, but not retired.
A few auditions.
Yeah,
you don't mind if I put the gear on.
Dried up a little bit since
he's been typecast.
No, don't reach for the biscuits. No one wants you to reach for the biscuits. They're on the top shelf, Damien, and you really are not allowed to reach for the biscuits. He
tried his hand at politics. He ran unsuccessfully, as you would imagine, as a candidate in 2022 for the far-right Freedom Party. He previously told the court that his own neighbours had tried to shame him for his far-right views, which include pushing the false conspiracy of white replacement theory.
I remember this, So Richardson's lawyer argued that, quote, Mr. Richardson did have posters of him posted outside a bus stop in the area in which he lives. And to be fair, I mean, you're a fucking Nazi, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Well, allegedly. But your views are abhorrent and those around you might want to know that. And also that
if this actually happened, I mean,
the poster's a thing.
Yeah, okay.
We reported on that, I think. I'm almost certain we did, unless it was one of those things that went into the wastepaper basket. But there has been a concerted effort to get Mr. Richardson to feel shame by some within that area.
Well, that's what his lawyer wrapped up by saying. It's terrible what's happened to Damo.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Well, really.
Of course, the deep irony is that his neighbours have turned on him, Joel.
That is the deep irony.
That's when good neighbours become good Nazi accomplices. Richardson will return to court on December 4 for a pre-sentence hearing. What's his chance of doing some bird? I wouldn't think very strong.
No. So basically, when it comes down to the real nitty-gritty of it, apparently, according to some fucking expert, the whole salute needs to be some kind of adulation or loyalty or unconditional obedience to Hitler. And that wasn't really shown here. So yes, he did the gesture. Yes, he's guilty. Yes, he's a dickhead. But unlike Blair Cottrell, who between peptide shots is just whacking off to a picture of Hitler, Damo's not quite there. He's just an edgelord who thought this would be interesting.
I'd say
gone out of hand.
I think the magistrate was very gentle with him, but I also say that it's about right.
The worst thing that happens with these judgments is you're don't be a soft cock. Put this prick in jail, make an example of him. And then you hear the magistrate's reasoning and you're oh, nah, that's pretty fair. Nah, that's pretty smart,
Yeah,
not always, but when you read a judgment, often if you disagree with it and then you read it, it's very rare that you come out of it being that was bullshit. You're okay, I understand. That's what judges do.
It's just now that he's basically forced to live with his neighbours, who some of whom are on the record. It's not him very much.
Well, you know what? Nazis remain unpopular, which segues us into
it'll keep the tension bubbling along in the little soap opera that is his life now. Meanwhile, Joel, we've got some more in parentheses.
3
Nazi
parentheses, in fact. Yes, unfortunately, it seems that the Nazi news thing is a bit of a common theme at the moment. It's really taken over the fucking headlines. It is unfortunate, but that's okay. Ebbs and flows. It'll pass. The NSN has been getting bolder since Frau Freedom, organiser for the March to Australia, allowed Joel Davis and the local chapter of the New South Wales NSN to lead the march with a big banner that Jesse ordered off the internet. Oh, he's got a PayPal account. He's growing up. This was the first MFA rally, of course, and we're just refreshing memories here. They basically led the event. I mean, they were in the front row, reacting loudly to speakers taking positions that weren't sort of cruel and racist enough. They took the microphone to speak under this bullshit guise of an open mic. Oh, yeah, man, we're just going to let Nazis speak because freedom or whatever. Oh, shut the fuck up. And then they had this little vanity march in Newtown, gay Newtown, where a Channel 7 reporter ran alongside them asking hard questions like, are you racist? And then just broadcast the unfiltered response, which...
you idiot. And everyone associated with that story, from the news director down, needs to have a very good look
just
at themselves.
Just the PR wing of the NSN and the unintentional, just useful idiots. Just guys, come on. Anyway, so they decided to perform a public stunt in the form of turning up outside New South Wales Parliament House in their black Helly Hansen jackets with a big banner that says, abolish the Jewish lobby. Now, this, of course, sparked controversy as they were given the green light by police to do this. They submitted their little form 1, and they got the go-ahead, despite openly stating their intention to hold the banner saying, abolish the Jewish lobby on the form, and who they were, which I don't think they said they were the NSN. I think they said they're the White Australia Party. But, I mean, come on. What part of White Australia Party do you think, oh, yeah, cool.
Abolish the Jewish lobby?
Fine.
No, that'll be fine.
Look, maybe the Jewish lobby needs abolishing. Let's just let them talk. This is fine. Nazis deserve a megaphone. Fucking whatever. Anyway, I have conspiracy theories on whether they allowed this to happen or not, but that's another story. So,
yeah, I don't know.
It's a good excuse to crack down on fucking...
It's always just stuff.
It's a good excuse to crack down on protests. So, anyway, the event was a bit of a win. And also, it's one of those things, you let them do it and then you whinge about it afterwards. But then they just because this is the dumbest fucking idea. And we'll see extensively why in a moment. But anyway, so look, the event on the face was a bit of a win for the black-clad grooming gang because they got extensive media coverage, and this is what they wanted. They had Chris Minns calling the group piss ants. That's what they wanted. And as usual, they, found themselves in a situation where maybe protests are going to be heavily policed, which is, in the Nazis' world, kind of a win because most protests are, left of center and
not
Nazis. They do these fucking dumb stunts. They give a shit if it's illegal or not. Anyway, so look, when it comes down to it, it's not a slam dunk victory, and nothing Nazis ever do is really going to work out well. But look, this may come as a shock to listeners, and I want you guys to sit down for this. It is entirely possible that this group of Nazis aren't very smart.
What?
Seriously.
No,
I'm
no.
serious. I'm sorry. I don't want to fuck you guys because I know everyone likes to say how fucking galaxy brain and 5D chess these people are, but every now and then you just got to remember Nazis are kind of fucking dumb. So it'll be easy for these sort of Twitter brain Nazi boys out there to think this is a great time to drop the mask and proudly display their Aryan master faces in public. But outside of their self-congratulating echo chamber where these master race morons froth about Jewish conspiracies, mostly on Gab and Twitter where it's totally normal and totally okay, the Overton window has actually not shifted to some kind of Nazi normalization space. Like, we still don't like Nazis as a general thing. You know, people still hate Nazis, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, for better or worse.
I know I do.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. It's mostly the Blues Brothers, I still hate Illinois Nazis. So Cookers, of course, have warmed up to them because they're so fucking rebellious and edgy. Michael Gray Grote was singing the praises of Tom Sewell. Oh, you know what? Like, if he wasn't a Nazi, you'd really agree with what he's... Shut the fuck up. Dave O'Neiggs has been a bit iffy about the real history of Germany since he watched Europa, and, like the idiot that he is, he swallowed that narrative that, like, minimal, if not non-existent critical thought.
Not really his go. Not really his go, critical thought.
Yeah, I wanted to stay in the lane, but like the fact that he got really upset about the media reporting on Hitler's having a micro penis, bro, just pick a lane. Just anyway, you're a Nazi, whatever. So otherwise, there is like just sort of like an overlap between Holocaust denial and Hitler cheerleading, and it's not like it's not necessarily that they go hand in hand. It's just that the Venn diagram is looking more like a circle. But you'll still see Holocaust denial where Hitler cheerleading isn't a part of it. Probably that's more of a Dave O'Neiggs thing. But then when it comes to some of these Nazis, they really, get right into it. Even these sort of bigoted fuckheads in the freedom movement are drawing the line at just becoming neo-Nazis because it's like the current trend, and they love the current trend. They are mindless NPCs. Maybe it's because Helly Hansen jackets are really expensive because we all know that freedom ain't free, but those jackets are $300.
I didn't get this until you mentioned it before, but Helly Hansen.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel so sorry for that company.
Yeah, I mean, like...
because they have badged their jackets, HH.
I don't feel sorry for the company as much as I do feel sorry for the guy.
I mean,
just the
you'd
consumers.
have to say, I mean, did they get a sort of management consultant in who just gave it the once over and went, you know what? I can see a problem. Helly?
It's like any time like a Twitter username has an 88 at the end, I'm like, were you born in 1988? Were you born in 1988? Why have you got 88? What's the 88 for? Are you Chinese? Tell me why you have 88 on the end.
I do feel a bit sorry for the company, but I mean, it's a Norwegian company.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a Norwegian company.
Fuck, that'll be fine. They've got oil money to live off. But like when it comes to Helly Hansen, like I saw a guy wearing a Helly Hansen sort of like jacket type thing, and I just felt sort of
$140. I got him for $140 direct from Helly Hansen, Charlie. You're paying over the
odds.
No,
I went to Helly Hansen's website today. You're looking at the wrong jackets. They have the primo jackets, not the shitty ones.
Oh,
you're looking at the
there's
trash
another
pile.
level of Helly Hansen jackets. Yeah. The one I'm looking at's got the HH rather prominent on the chest.
Yeah,
here.
no, these have one on the collar. It's a different jacket. You're not a fashion writer. Come on, not like me. So when it comes to the Helly Hansen thing, basically it's just like it's just got HH on. That's the only appeal. But now
that's the only
every
appeal.
fuckwit on a yacht. Now you sort of look at him and you're like, what is your opinion of the real history of Germany? What are you thinking in your head there? Yeah.
What do you know? What do you know about Germany?
Yeah. Anyway, I don't think they're even Holocaust deniers. I think they're actually quite happy with how it worked out as far as history books concerned. Anyway, so speaking of freedom, Beck Freedom, now known as Frau Freedom, which is kind of funny, has copped a lot of shit for being a naughty Nazi, and we've seen opportunists like Monica Smith trying to set up their own little parallel protests, to cash in on this idea that migrants are to blame for everything, especially, of course, the whims of greedy landlords and predatory real estate agents. No, it's migrants. It's really migrants, but minus the actual Nazis. Well done, Monica. It's embarrassing.
Look, anyway, the Macquarie Street stunt saw Nazis go mask off in public, proudly displaying their Nazi faces. And what could possibly go wrong there? Well, it turns out the Helly Hansen-clad sailing enthusiasts are going to struggle to keep up with the repayments on the yacht. after the White Rose Society circulated photos asking the public to identify the participants, I should say, and the result has been incredibly funny.
Yes, it is. I mean, look, I can't imagine any other reason why they'd be wearing Helly Hansen jackets other than the fact that they've, just been having a spot of sailing.
Been up for a bit of, feel the wind and the sea mist through there.
Exactly, and then complain about how salt is a Jewish conspiracy. So,
and all those migrants in there.
Yeah, exactly, on their fishing boats. So first cab off the rank, or let's say the train out of the station, was Cooper Stevens.
Cooper Stevens. Oh, look at that. That's Cooper Stevens. He's a train guard for Sydney Trains and has not been officially fired as yet, but has been stood down pending investigation. Not very bright.
No.
Cooper. It's not looking good, though. As a spokesman for Sydney Trains said, the employees, he's actually been referred to in the third party, the employee's role is frontline and his actions are not supported by Sydney Trains or Transport New South Wales and are not in line with public sector values.
Yes, that is no good.
The values of the public sector. Anyway, we won't get into that, but it's not looking all that flash for Cooper.
No, it's not looking great either. And next up is Martin Prisbilek.
Oh, I'm so glad you have
Prisbilek. Yeah, I was thinking of bolding it and just being sucked in.
I would think Prisbilek.
Prisbilek, yeah, something like that. It's a Polish name, which makes this whole thing even more fucked in the head. So he's a personal trainer at Anytime Fitness in Fairfield. And I must say, for purposes of legal clarity, there are actually two Anytime Fitnesses in Fairfield East and Fairfield West, and we do not know which outlet it is. I did reach out to them for comment, and I have not got a response. So the SMH reported that Prisbilek, don't care, is an aspiring rapper.
Like a lot of Zs and Ys.
With 8 subscribers on his YouTube page. And he was identified.
But it's going to go way up now.
This is perfect. It's good marketing. No such thing as bad publicity, except when you're a Nazi. He was identified by his distinctive tattoos, which goes back to the original thing of if you're a criminal or a fuckwit, don't have tattoos. You'll be identified, idiot.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
He also, like I say, he has a Polish surname, which suggests this weird little neo-Nazi is just a very deeply confused boy. I mean, what do you...
Doesn't understand much about European history in the 20th century.
Imagine the grandparents just being like, bro, can you not? What?
But then there were actual Jewish Nazis living in Israel.
Yeah.
They're basically a gang of Russian
It's
immigrants.
kind of insane.
And that's kind of full on, isn't it?
That's very fucking weird. And I guess they have the right of return, but you really wouldn't want them around. You'd be like, okay, I don't really know what to do
What's happening with Marty Prisbilek?
So he hasn't got the arse from the gym yet, but I think he's going to be looking for work shortly because it appears that his career as a rapper isn't really going to pay the bills and the termination of employment is fucking imminent.
Not with those 8 followers.
But also, Martin, mate, why Fairfield? You're a Nazi, right? That is just masochistic shit. There are other suburbs in Sydney. Fairfield is one of the most diverse suburbs in the country. And that's where you decide to move? What the fuck is wrong with you? Move to the Central Coast. It's white as shit.
He really must hate it there.
Just go and be with your people. What are you doing? What are you doing? Weird fucker. Anyway. And in a similar vein, we have Christian Mouton, possibly, who apparently teaches English as a second language. What? What? Let's face it, the whole remigration plan is getting bad for business.
He's got a really terrible business.
No one's going to be learning English if there's no migrants, you fucking idiot. Anyway, so look, I suppose it's probably going to also be bad marketing publicity, being a Nazi and an English teacher. It's just not good ESL marketing, I don't think. People just, not. Unless there's a niche crowd of people who really like it.
Probably a better way of doing it.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. So,
being a Nazi.
Adam Carrick, he's the former bar owner. He is facing domestic violence-related charges of assault and stalking or intimidation.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Classic Nazi behavior. What a good guy. Yeah. He told the Herald he wasn't actually there, despite being photographed. He texted this to the journalist.
Yeah, there is that. Final warning, all in caps. Stop. That's in caps too. Messaging me now. Your messages are unwanted. Any more equals police report, e-safety complaint, court. Mm-hmm. This is your only warning, 11 November 2025.
Did he need to add the date? I feel like text messages have dates on them.
Yeah, probably a bit unnecessary.
It just seemed redundant.
He's the man. He's a perfectionist.
Yes. That's right. Anyway,
He's a details man.
It sounded a bit SovCit.
I just wondered too, an e-safety complaint. Ooh,
yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know what the plan there.
What would that be? I'm being harassed. Please make it stop. Make them stop. Make those bad people stop. You're probably get an email back about 3 days later.
It's really not. It's not an avenue of intimidation.
Please call and press 4 for reception.
Yeah, but thank you.
Oh,
anyway.
Jesus. The e-safety. No, not the e-safety commission.
Yeah, well, look, one day the e-safety commission is going to come for you and you are going to eat your words.
Not the e-safety commissioner.
Julia Imran Grant would fuck you up if she wanted to. Trust me. She'd just don some boxing gloves.
Fucking made me laugh like
it is pretty funny. So one of the other sort of funnier looking bonces in the group was that of Dean Alessi, a man with a mullet and moustache that makes him just look like a complete dead shit. The whole 80s tennis porn guy, sure, but like just a wanker. He's a driver for his family's racing team, Alessi Motorsport, who have since deleted their Facebook page. I wonder why. They might have been having a few inquiries.
They'd be happy that Dean Alessi's pulled the mask off.
Yeah, Daddy didn't know you're a Nazi.
What's he doing? What are we doing now?
Yeah, and it sounds like he's actually quite good at what he does. It sounds like they're a very successful family business. And now, unfortunately, they're going to have to blame the Jews for all their problems. So, Alex...
Well, no, they're not going to do that. Let's be clear. They're not going to do that.
No.
Right now, they're just dealing with some pretty hideous...
we don't know if the family knew. So they could have just found out.
That's exactly right.
So it could be public
They're
blowback.
just dealing with hideous fallout.
Because the fallout's one thing, but like they may very well be just finding this out now. And like Jack Eltis, the leader of the New South Wales guys, he was disowned by his family about a year ago. The family basically just went, look, we can't do anything about this. Be nice to each other. But we're not Nazis. He is. People make their own decisions. Okay, fine.
And we've brushed him, and we recommend everybody else brushes him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Alex Volvac, or Volvach, I don't know. He's about to have a terrible month. Oh, it's going to be real bad. It's going to be real bad. He's a security consultant with a degree in software development from a university in St. Petersburg, Russia, and he worked for the Russian government between 2004 and 2014. Nothing sus there. His company, Iron Logic, was founded in Russia, but operates in Australia with high-profile government clients, including the New South Wales Department of Education, and is a registered supplier of IT services on the New South Wales government procure website by New South Wales. That might be a problem because he's a little Nazi boy. He was also issued a security license, which is issued through the police. And that might be a problem now because, police checks might come up with Nazi in flashing red lights.
Well, they've got to act now. I mean, let's put what happened down to human error. But now that they know this, they've got to act on that.
I mean
they've got to withdraw his security license for a start.
He's a naughty little Nazi boy.
And then start revisiting some of his contractual arrangements.
Fuck yeah. It's going to be really bad. And I don't think Iron Logic is a one-man band. I think there's probably employees who are going to get impacted by this, which is unfortunate.
But he is the principal of the company?
He is, yeah. So the website claims, Iron Logic website claims to have headquarters in London, a distribution center in Latvia, and production facilities in St. Petersburg. The ironlogic.com.au domain is registered under his name, Alexei Volvac, and so Alex, I guess, is...
I'd be surprised if he hasn't come to the attention of our security agencies.
I would be very surprised if that was the case. He also misspelled his name in the email address on the Whois, which I thought was very funny. Anyway, don't misspell your name on forums.
Look... We have saved the best for last.
We really, really have.
The great unmasked.
We really have.
South African national Matthew Gruter is having an absolute... It's a Malcolm Fraser of a week. It's a phrase that many of our younger listeners...
It's a Malcolm phrase.
But it was a Malcolm Fraser of a week, and it's generally not a good week. It's, generally speaking, one of your worst weeks. See, Matty Gruter is about to become a victim of his own ideology because he's about to see what remigration feels like. As the Herald reports that the Department of Home Affairs are preparing a brief for the Albanese government to consider his visa.
Consider is a strong word in that sentence too. You're about to get fucked.
Oh, dear. Yeah, so he's He's a blow-in.
He's a blow-in.
He's one of them. He's one of them.
He's one of them. We should march against them.
That's apparently being presented to the minister. Well, will be presented to the minister by the time we record this. Tony Burke, as the Minister for Home Affairs, has not been shy about refusing visas to the people that he says will incite discord. He blocked Candace Owens, rather famously, from entering the country on a speaking tour because she's a Holocaust denier and clinically insane.
Yes, exactly.
She attempted to have this overturned, of course, and it failed miserably and expensively.
Yes.
The lawyers win again, Joe.
Good. Smorgasbord for all.
Anyway, back to Matthew Gruter.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be known as the Groot, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
By the boys?
Oh, you'd think so.
They'd call him the Groot.
Yeah.
G'day, Groot. Look, the Groot's here.
Matty Groots.
According to an online job profile, Gruter is an engineer for Aurecon, that's Aurecon, a large engineering firm with government contracts and a fairly progressive social media presence. Like others, he has not been fired, but the company is investigating.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
I don't know why I felt I had to do that in the Gestapo accent. But Gruter has bigger fish to fry, though, because he may well be looking for work back in Joburg.
Yeah.
Where all those terrible people are.
Yeah.
If Home Affairs don't migrate old mate, then he is still somewhat fucked. His wife said on social media that his visa was employer sponsored.
Yeah, it's not good, huh?
So if the employer dismisses or basically ceases to have an employer-employee relationship with Mr. Gruter, that essentially suspends his visa.
Yep.
So why wouldn't he take his mask off as a Nazi, Joe?
Well, it's a risk thing, mitigating risk, but given his status in the...
Just a bit of excitement, I think. Get the blood flowing.
But, yeah, well, I guess the blood can flow all the way to fucking South Africa. So, look, Gruter is a bit of an odd duck here because he has a tattoo on his arm in Hebrew.
See that?
Isn't that weird? It's this too shall
I was going to
pass.
ask one of our Hebrew friends what that meant.
Well, it says this
but
too
I
shall
just don't
pass.
have the chance.
White
What's it
Rose
is?
said,
What is
this
it?
too shall pass.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's not going to pass. I mean, you're going to pass through immigration when you leave the country and probably be banned from re-entry. But yeah, so you too will pass.
Do you think that's going to happen? Do you honestly think that's going to happen?
Yeah, I think so.
That he will
Tony
be?
Burke's on a fucking tear. So, like, the thing here, right? So,
Be very, very. Sorry to interrupt, but it would be very, very difficult to appeal this. By the way, the group.
well, once the minister has the ministerial discretion is strong in
a
thing.
fucking idiot. By the
He's
way.
a fucking.
Can we just not move past the obvious fucking idiocy of this
It
man?
is true. It is. It's stunning. I mean, like, being a Nazi really does require a
Peer group
certain
pressure.
type of
That's
mind,
what it
but
was.
Yeah. So look, he's a fancy Nazi.
Sorry, back to the Groot's appearances and tattoos and
Yes,
what
well,
have
the tattoo is the Hebrew thing, but he's a fancy Nazi with a silver bracelet, and the silver bracelet says blood and honor. And of course, this is apparently a term originally
That's not
associated
Nazi
with
at
the
all.
Hitler Youth, which is very funny
Yes, it
considering he's not very young. But they only give these to the senior figures in the group. So that's not really going to help with, oh, Your Honor, I just like the training.
Found it at the
It's just a fitness thing, bro. Don't worry about it. No, you're a big old stinky Nazi and you're a senior figure in the group. So the bracelet was actually spied on a post on his wife's Instagram profile where she's apparently some kind of wellness mumfluencer. And you just know she's like a big fucking RFK Jr., big Trump, classic, this like pastel Q trope.
Do we know? I haven't seen it.
Well, look, I haven't seen it either. Everyone's keeping her name very quiet. We are too. Generally,
look, it's fair to say, Joel, it wouldn't be sort of raging progressive.
no.
Take your baby to the doctor at the first sign of trouble.
And we've seen this.
It was probably wouldn't be that. However, we are leaving the possibility that she is a kind of normal stay-at-home mom.
Well, normal insofar as she's been pictured with him with a fucking blood and honor bracelet. Now, I can also assume that she's that stupid that she saw that went, blood and honor? I love blood. I love honor. And just genuinely had no idea that was a Nazi phrase. So look, we can't discount that. And the Herald made a big point of...
Well, just blood on its own, it's not that great. But blood and honor.
Yeah.
What?
Blood honor actually makes the blood taste better. I've heard from many vampires and Peter Thiel.
You get a higher rate of oh god, it's just left me.
I dread to think what you were going to come up with.
Yeah, no, it doesn't really matter. It's not worth waiting for. Gruder has not taken the attention well.
No.
As we might have expected, to got in touch with the Herald and said, "Since when is loving and advocating for your own people, with a capital P, a crime?" Which is a bit of a giveaway.
It is a bit of a
to be
crime.
honest. Bit of a there, Matty Gruder, the Grooster. When his wife was contacted for comment, he replied on her behalf, "Give me that phone. I note that you intend to drag my wife into this and her ability to earn an income. Absolute scum behaviour and angle." He's an engineer, see?
Yes, he loves that angle.
Your people want us unemployed, kicked out the street. I presume that means kicked out on the street.
Oh, sorry, this man's an idiot. We've been through that.
Okay, so he's
just illiterate.
So he's one of those immigrants who can't speak English. You people want us unemployed, kicked out the street, want a family broken up and my newborn to starve, he said. All because I disagree with you politically. What you try to do to us personally is far worse than any of our general political ideology. I'm going to call that one out. Going to call that one out, actually. Say, nah, mate. The fact that you'd be a little bit unemployed, probably not and sent home.
It's not quite
the same as, 60 million dead?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it was more like 6 for the Holocaust itself, but World War II was a bit of a bitch.
6 for the Holocaust, yes. Yeah. 6 for the Holocaust, 60 million overall.
I feel like their boner is more about that. They don't really get too excited about Russians being starved on the front, but that's another story. Look.
Well, wouldn't Alex Volvo? She'd worry about that.
I'd like to think so, but who knows? We've got a fucking Polish Nazi in here. Like the world is topsy-turvy. So, look, Tom Tanuki summed it up nicely on a Facebook post by saying, quote, "Cunt, your general political ideology entails calling for the deportation or execution of all non-whites, citizen or not. You deserve much worse. The least you can all do, is stay doing cashies for each other, go to hell." And that's fair enough. I mean, you know what? Yeah, look, fuck you.
Yeah, well, whatever. That's his take. My take would be it is quite alarming to see that these people don't have, these men, they are all men, but they are, many of them gainfully employed. They live among us. I think that's the thing, this idea of just doing cashies for each other. It might have been the way Nazism in Australia was perhaps 10 years ago. I don't know that it's the way it is now. Anyway.
It's the only way they can survive. But
another attendee, unnamed by the Herald, but cited as an IT worker, was also fired.
Yeah, just casually.
Well, think about it. Now they can take their masks off wherever they go. It's not really, when the impact has hit them now.
Yes. But only a few of them have been identified.
So,
there's still...
The great reveal hasn't paid off for a lot of them. But anyway.
There's still several yet to be identified. So lots of pain yet to be felt.
No good.
But we've got boring, predictable characters. We've got, Jack Eltis, Joel Davis.
Yes.
He was... So the Herald reports that he's an HVAC worker. Apparently he's got an air conditioning business. So just say, if you're getting aircon sorted in Sydney, maybe just double check you're not about to have a bunch of Red Bull fueled neo-Nazis doing the fucking installation. Just check.
We're here to check your thermostat.
Yeah. Because we're going to make your house into an oven. Anyway. So Oscar Tuckfield made a lot of noise when he tried to stack Nationals branches with Nazis.
Yes, I remember him.
Cute. And there was a big ABC investigation into that, blew that whole thing wide open. It was pretty good. And of course, despite Frau Freedom continuing to deny an association with NSN, old mate Tuckfield was one of those guys, apparently at the front of the rally with the banner, wearing the high vis. So you had all the guys in black, and then Joel Davis was like, no, you guys need to be out of uniform, and they had Nazis just out of uniform as marshals.
So in other words, Tuckfield's had the opportunity for some self-reflection and taken it and continued down the same path.
Oh, he's a double down, yeah.
To me, that makes him worse. He's worse than the Gruder in many ways.
Well, yeah, I don't know, man. I think they're both fuckwits, but yes, I reckon that'd be a coin toss. So Tom Tanaka shared the White Rose post seeking identification, had the post removed by Facebook. And I'm assuming this is generally like an AI oversight detection thing, as the post was categorized under dangerous individuals and organizations. Getting real deja vu from all those YouTube videos we had deleted because of medical misinformation. But as Tanaka remarked, it's too late. The cat's out of the bag, man. Like, the post remains up on other Facebook pages, which to me indicates that someone reported the post and it was taken down by, a fucking dumbass robot. But yeah, like, Facebook's oversight system is really, really shit. Many billions of dollars, and they spend it all on VR and llama. Don't know why. So, look, there's a shitload of Nazi news going around. Tom Sewell just got bail, which is not only a terrible thing, but the judge's comments imply he will be getting yet another light sentence.
He's walking among us again.
Because, the thing is, like, so he had that violent attack on Camp Sovereignty, and the judge is basically saying, well, if he's waiting 2 years for the trial outcome, that will be more than his sentence, which is basically giving away the game.
And it's
how he's up for like 20 years. And he's going to get less than 2 for a repeat offender. This is fucking insane. It's just insane that he's getting off lightly again. Anyway, we'll see. It's still underway.
He is. I think currently looking for work, isn't he, Tom?
I believe he's getting $500 a week for being the big Nazi. I don't know how their funding works, but someone's paying. And he was going to be like a roof plumber or something. So yeah. There was work prospects there. But look, at the end of the day, the March for Australia thing has turned into a complete shit fight. The freedom movement's fractured as far as like who's a Nazi and who's not. And I just thought that maybe we could just enjoy, basking in the misery of some shit cunts, just getting their comeuppance after they got a little bit too cocky down at Parley House, down Macquarie Street. Mate, pull your head in. Literally pull your head in, you fucking idiots.
Let's take our masks off.
Yeah, let's just see what happens.
Very, very funny.
Okay, so we have a Matty Groots update here, where most of you will already know that Matty Groots has been kicked in the Matty Glutes and had his ass taken straight to Villawood. Do not pass go, but he has collected $200. In fact, the bastard has collected around $21,000 from a Give, Send, Go campaign, with a few top donations of $3,000. Gotta love cashed up Nazis. I suppose a few of them out there remain employed. One of them donated $500 with the name Rope for Burke. That's charming. One person donated $200 with a very simple comment: end Jewishness. What the fuck does that even mean? Anyway, so neo-Nazi news outlet The Noticer has been all over this, writing long-winded columns about how other migrants who are likely asylum seekers have broken the law and not been deported. Of course, asylum seekers who face imminent harm in their country of origin are unable to be deported because that would probably be a death sentence for them. That's kind of why they left. Grutter is going to be fine. He left, as they like to call in the Liberal Party, an economic migrant. Or, just someone who just thought that Australia sounded nice. The ones that we get really angry about in sort of early 2000s. So, I'm sorry, mate. Anyway. According to his mate at the neo-Nazi news outlet, he was emailed at 10 p.m. Monday on the evening to notify him of his visa being cancelled and was given a deadline of 35 days to leave Australia. He attempted to apply for a BVE visa, or Bridging Visa E, which allows the recipient time to arrange their departure or wait for their immigration hearing. Well, there's no immigration hearing happening. That was denied to him, and that was made abundantly clear at 4:30 the following morning, Tuesday 18th November, where he was taken to Villawood Detention Centre. Now, according to Grutter, 10 armed police kicked his door in while his wife was feeding his 1-month-old child. He claims he was handcuffed and taken to Villawood, where he will stay until he is deported. Villawood being a place that I think they otherwise seem quite fond of until they're sent there themselves. It seems the NSN are moving more toward the White Australia title, with The Guardian reporting that that is his organisation when they were quoted, and they made a statement claiming that they will pursue every legal avenue to appeal the decision. Unfortunately, there's not really a legal avenue. I mean, they're probably just flexing. As a ministerial decision to cancel a visa, it's generally not reviewable, so I don't really know what their plan is. I mean, look, it's hard to say what they might attempt here, maybe just a stunt. The last shot was Candace Owens having a crack at the implied freedom of political communication, and that argument did not get any traction at all. There's not really much in the Bill of Rights for South African migrants, I'm afraid. So for some bizarre reason, completely unprompted, The Guardian added this at the end of their article. United Australia Party Senator Ralph Babbitt wrote on X, "You may not like what he, Grutter, has to say, but in a free country, you should defend his right to say it." They just threw that quote in there for reasons I'll never understand. The Nazi news outlet, to whom quoting Babbitt makes a touch more sense, also reported, United Australia Party Senator Ralph Babbitt also criticised the decision, writing in a comment on Facebook, quote, "You can't cancel people's visas because you don't like their political views. This is a slippery slope and will not end well for everyone." Okay, that's not well written, and he didn't put an apostrophe in people's, but that's fine. Of course, a quick search of Zippy's just Twitter profile sees several results for the term deport or visa, mostly encouraging ICE in the United States to deport people quite violently. But of course, there are a few examples in Australia, including the suggestion that we deport people who are not culturally aligned with Australia and that don't assimilate into Australian culture. Now, are we to conclude that Ralph thinks that Nazis are assimilating with Australian culture? Is that not an issue there? Are they culturally aligned with Australia, Zip? I just think that before you open your fucking dumb mouth, you should just do a quick search of your Twitter profile to see if you've said something that is completely inconsistent with what you're about to blurt out. But of course, it's Babbitt. Why? I don't know why. I would expect him to have any kind of, pride or thought or anything. Anyway, of course, all this is completely in line with Nazi beliefs, and we don't need to dig far to see that their outrage of this is completely farcical. Jack Eltis, who I think we should call HVAC Eltis, said on Twitter, replying to a tweet from Larissa Waters about the expansion of adult sentencing to child offenders in Victoria, quote, "Deport all Africans, criminal or not, all must go." Now, that is very convenient. Looks like old HVAC Jack supports Grutter getting the arse from Australia. He just needed to think about it a bit more. Yes, all Africans. Right. Yeah, good. Thanks. And also, yes, thanks to the good old friend of the podcast, Alternate Media Watchers, for that cracking line. That is very funny. Now, recently bailed Tom Sewell said this, quote, "In light of the treatment of Matthew Grutter and his family, I promise to deport every single member of the Labor Party, Liberal Party, Green Party, and any other opponent of white Australia regardless of race," which is some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. But, look, he's upset. He's lashing out. He's lost a friend. He's very sad. Now, look, I think we've fixed the problem. I don't think we need much for Australia anymore. We've got rid of the migrants. So the houses are going to be $20 a pop. Jobs are going to grow on jobby trees all across the streets because we fixed migration. We deported a migrant. There's probably more of them. Great. Isn't this what you wanted? Of course, it's the wrong migrant. So the usual suspects are outing themselves, at the very least, Nazi sympathisers. I mean, at the very least, racist. And they're showing the blatant hypocrisy on their so-called stance on migrants. "I'm not racist, I just think that rents are too high." Shut the fuck up. So look, if you want to reduce the number, that's one less migrant to compete for a unit, stand at an auction, go for a job, maybe a seat on the bus. You should be bloody cheering.
We fired you, we sacked you, we dismissed you as what? As garbage, because that's all you are. You're a criminal, you're a traitor, and you're going to the biggest barbecue in history. So from Christmas dinner to you are the dinner.
Thank you, that's what I'll go with.
Look, I am very much looking forward to SovCits this episode. It just cracks me up. A month or so ago, one of our beloved posters on the Conditional Release Program shit posting website drew a matter to our attention. The post included a reference from one SovCit moaning that the Commonwealth of Australia has been sold lock, stock and barrel to the Commonwealth Attorney General.
Oh, wow. That's an expensive transaction.
Now, the Attorney General for the Commonwealth is Michelle Rowland, duly appointed by the Albanese government and sworn in by the Governor-General just weeks after the May election.
Well done.
Succeeding Mark Dreyfus.
Good bloke.
Be him.
Yeah.
But our SovCit didn't mention Rowland's name or Dreyfus's for that matter.
Well, we didn't actually see any sale of Australia on the New York Stock Exchange either. That's where the SovCit say it's listed, right? So, what's going on there? Surely we should have got a market alert.
You could scan the nice listings and you won't find Corporation of Australia there.
You'd think that you'd be able to ring the bell if you're selling Australia.
What would be COA? I don't know. What would be the index?
The ticker?
Yeah, the abbreviation.
Come Australia.
Abbreviation.
Yeah.
Anyway, the SovCit quoted on our shitposting forum was moaning that the recipient of the sale of Australia was a man by the name of Andrew Morton Garrett, who now owns Australia's vast wealth, and everyone in Australia is presumably his employee.
Good.
Garrett owns
nice.
Australia. I'm just happy someone, will, get a bit of coin out of the joint.
About time.
It's a terrific place with some lovely beaches, and it should belong to someone.
That's right.
But is Andrew Morton Garrett the right man to own Australia?
Well, we took a little bit of a look at Andrew Morton Garrett. We covered him previously in his SovCitty bank scam bullshit. I think it was episode 156. Yep. And it turns out he's still a SovCit. He's still a con artist. He is still a former bankrupt.
I presume he still is, yeah.
He is a man who made the serious technical error of upsetting one of Australia's most widely respected justices, Justice Michael Lee of the Federal Court. Whoops.
For those who just came in, Andrew Morton Garrett was a winemaker in Tassie. He came up with, and listen to this, I just love this. This is entrepreneurship at its finest. His urban wineries concept.
Okay.
And the idea, which he shopped around Adelaide and Hobart, obviously figuring that's where you'll find a lot of marks, centered around blast frozen grapes turned into premium wines.
Okay.
To be drunk on site or at customers' homes. Fresh wine.
I don't know how any of that works. Don't they need to ferment and do stuff?
He fell foul of the law in 2016 when the ATO pulled him up for seeking $6 million in tax credits. Oh yeah, here are my tax returns, and
you owe me a fortune.
Almost forgot. Let me just pass that back to me. I have $6 million in tax credits, which I'll be needing, fairly promptly. So can you send me a check?
It's very easy to make a mistake. It's only 4 or 5 digits or 6 digits. It's fine.
It is incredibly easy to do this. I wish we had the time to. I went through. I spoke to a fraudster, and long story short, he said I sent off a request for a tax credit. He was a mobile phone sort of operator, wholesaler, and he just put in a tax credit for $250,000. The money came in about 3 days later. And then he went bang, bang. I think one point he went $2 million.
It's crazy.
And
there's a whole bunch of GST fraud.
The money.
Yeah.
Yeah, beauty.
It's
a while ago, to be honest. Anyway, we're getting back to Mr. Garrett here. Had the $6 million tax credit issue hanging over his head. He was convicted of various dishonesty offences. There's a bit of a theme here, folks, that will just flow through,
yes,
which included managing companies while being banned from doing so.
Classic naughty behaviour.
Does that quite a lot.
Yeah. So less than a decade earlier in 2007, Garrett was declared a vexatious litigant, which is, contrary to popular belief, really hard to do.
It's actually really hard to do.
It's really hard to do. Like, the courts take the right to litigate really seriously when sometimes they shouldn't. Anyway, it hasn't stopped his problems in the courts, though, because in 2010, Andrew Morton was convicted of dishonesty and banned from running companies, as we just mentioned.
Well, this is a little early. And in 2024, it was time for the big one. It's the big one! After the financial regulator, APRA, became really difficult.
Unagreeable.
And Garrett was not allowed to be a bank.
What?
Well, not run a bank, but be a bank. It was going to be a bank with some lovely letterhead on some very nice recycled paper. Not so big on the prudential requirements. It costs a lot of money.
Oh, stop being a coward. Just run a bank, mate.
Yeah, but
it's fine.
You got to love the man's ambition. I want to be a bank.
He's got a lot of pluck.
Normally you do have to have a bit of cash behind you to be a bank.
Just get a GST refund and you're fine.
Deposit, get a tax credit.
Got plenty of cash, mate. Don't worry about it.
Credit. But look, if you are running a bank, you've got to actually have a bit of money behind you, because if depositors, if you've only got a small number of depositors, and they all turn up on the same day wanting cash, you could start a Great Depression,
It could be bad.
This is pretty much what happened a while back. Anyway.
So Garrett found himself in the federal court once again before none other than Justice Michael Lee, who rose to judicial fame with that spectacular finding that Bruce Lemon did rape Brittany Higgins, and that Lemon's defo claim was a case of a, quote, man going back to the lion's den to get his hat.
It's a beautiful quote.
Such a good
and
line.
look, things started badly straight away in the federal court for... our man Garrett. He did not appear in person, but in his submissions, he referred to Justice Lee as a bankrupt and threatened to send Lee and other federal court justices to a jail in Outer Mongolia.
Ooh, can I negotiate that down to Inner Mongolia, or is Outer Mongolia
well,
the
there
only
negotiations
place?
going on here. According to the great Justice Michael Lee himself, he even offered to build the jail in China.
Oh,
Some sort of Lego jail, some sort of modular jail that they could knock up when they, transported all out of Mongolia.
that sounds very pragmatic. I'm on board with this. This is good.
It's a great way to start a trial, isn't it? It's just the best way. Tell the judge he's a bankrupt and deserves to rot in the Gobi Desert.
Yeah.
Anyway,
just with some yaks.
look, there's lots of gobbledygook here, so the hell with it. Let's leave it to Justice Michael Lee. Joel, give me your best Justice Michael Lee impersonation. No. Just right.
As best I understand it, well, yeah, exactly. I'll just try and be vaguely literate. As best I understand it, it is in this capacity that Mr. Garrett claims to be the personal repository of all public powers in the Commonwealth of Nations. In a letter attached to an email sent to my associate in July, which appears to have been filed in proceedings commenced in the United States District Court in Colorado, Mr. Garrett claims, among other things, that I am the managing controller and liquidator appointed to the Crown, liquidator and managing controller appointed globally, as well as holding hereditary public office as Crown Attorney General appointed to the Commonwealth of Nations. I am a person exercising hereditary discretionary public powers conferred under the 8 enactments and hold Section 61 of the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1900, UK. The assets of the Sestiqui Trust... Sestiqui V Trust. I think I learned about that in equity. I don't care. The North America Property Trust, the Australia Property Trust, the United Kingdom and Ireland Property Trust, the India Property Trust, the Africa's Property Trust.
Every single one of them.
Typo on that one. And the Canada Property Trust, the New Zealand Property Trust, the remaining British Empire Dominions Property Trust. This is very extensive.
Yeah.
And all treaties executed between members of the Commonwealth of Nations as personal property.
It's a big job, but someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to put it in all caps too, because a lot of that was in capital letters. There's a lot of capital letters in random places. We get
quite a lot of caps. It's fantastic.
Very cringe. In exercising these purported powers, Mr. Garrett is said to have placed various government bodies, including this court, into liquidation.
Oh.
He also claims to have placed various former and current judges of this court, including myself, into bankruptcy.
They're bankrupt now.
He also seeks the extradition of the same judges to and their imprisonment in the People's Republic of China. Although Mr. Garrett now apparently favours, for reasons that are not pellucid, Siberia or Outer Mongolia. This is illustrated in 2 emails coming from my associate, the first in July.
Yeah, that's actually, we don't have the photo, but that is actually a photo of the jail that he was going to send.
Oh, man.
Send Justice Lee and others too.
It's good to be able to see these things, like a real estate listing.
I love, and I just love the dryness for reasons that are not pellucid. And pellucid, folks, means, it's a jewelry term, actually. It means completely translucent.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So wonderful little slap there. And then
I love judgments. They're so funny. Judges can be real funny.
Justice Lee printed this, and this is coming from this is the mind of Garrett at work, Andrew Garrett at work.
Who sent this to the associate thinking this was going to somehow do something good.
I won't read it all.
Oh, just do it. Fuck it. Just get through it.
But it is fantastic. Dear Mesdames et Messieurs, the proliferation of numbnuts as a result of failure to exercise discretionary public powers conferred under enactments in the public interest beggars belief.
Shock.
He's had a gutful of it. The public trust in Australia has been betrayed by all 3 branches of government, and most particularly by the Australian judiciary.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Now he's just become enraged, and he's hit the caps like, Australia is poorly served by the acting judiciary, acting attorneys general, acting solicitors general, acting governors, parliamentarians, committees,
etc.
etc. I can't think of anyone. It's so crazy you just can't think. So
just
mad.
Dudes.
I have named 671 convicted persons and entities in the Hong Kong proceedings. Don't know what those are, which will no doubt become much largest. There's a typo.
Probably.
Sorry. On completion of disclosure of all materials, no comma, facts in accordance with the Crown common law model. He actually names a few judges. The above, and particularly Charlesworth. These are from the South Australian judiciary. Logan J, White, Kenny, Beach, Middleton, Davey, Pagone, and all of the South Australian High Court judiciary should be extradited and incarcerated in accordance with the mandatory life sentence applicable under South Australian law. I am content to fund the building of the prison in China. And the second, early in August, and then he's just popped the photo up. Yeah, what do you think of that, Jar? We're putting you there.
Yeah, I think that would be very funny. We are not a visual medium, but so I'm kind of glad that I'm not seeing the photos of like.
Yeah, we can't see
I have no advantage.
It would be something he'd picked out that looked, I would think, fairly grim.
Yes, I would imagine so. It's
It should. So obviously, folks, it should come as no surprise that Garrett was found to be in contempt of the federal court, namely of the federal court's orders that APRA had previously received in the federal court. It's can you please stop being a fucking bank?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
it's getting very confused.
Yes, it's quite tricky.
Lee ordered a fine of $10,000, but it was suspended for 18 months to see if this time Mr. Garrett would follow federal court orders. It's just about to fall due. Ooh, yeah, end of this month. So,
okay.
But I'll give you a little spoiler alert there, folks.
No,
he's going to keep charging on.
No, sure.
But if this is proven anything, it's just like banking ain't easy.
No.
It's not. You can think about today I think I'll start a bank, but it's a bit more to it than that.
It is much like pimping. It is not easy. So Garrett no longer lives in the Australia that he owns, which, it's insane tax-wise to live in your own property, mate. You've got to make that an investment.
Yeah. He doesn't live in Australia, but he owns it.
Yeah, well, that's how you get the negative gearing.
I mean, or maybe that's just this kind of master and servant relationship that he wants. But,
quite possibly.
But I would have thought if you own Australia, look, you probably get a house
just
somewhere.
Mark it down as your PPR. Okay, makes sense. Anyway, so look, he's believed to be living in China, which is where the prison's going to be. Possibly Hong Kong, though.
Probably, I reckon.
Might be pulling the shots from a weird little apartment somewhere. His bank's Banque de Como, or the other one, which goes by the name Banque de Capital Dynamique.
Dynamique.
Of course, this is just Dynamic Capital Bank in English, but it doesn't sound as fancy if you say that. Look, you get a home loan, start a savings loan.
Go down, get a home loan from the Dynamic Capital
Bring
Bank.
down a photocopy of your passport. Make sure you got the ID documents. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, I don't know if the cards work at Woolies. You get out to get groceries.
Yeah, maybe give that a try. Just buy a packet of Chewy or something. So it doesn't really matter if you.
This is the Dynamic Capital Bank card.
If your card doesn't work there.
If this doesn't, if you won't take my good money, then who will? No one. No one will.
Excuse me, sir. Are you trying to tell me that you don't accept Dynamic Capital Bank card?
This is ridiculous. I'm going to call my banker in Hong Kong.
The real truth to this, he's claimed aim in running a bank is to be able to redistribute all of Australia that he's responsible for.
Oh,
now.
okay.
So he needs to be able to
have that avenue.
Send money and send money around the place.
It'd be very hard to own Australia and be debanked.
He's not doing it for personal. Not doing it for personal.
No. Perish the thought. He's a very benevolent man, as we've noticed.
Anyway, the scoreboard reads, as this is SovCit v. the man, Garrett 0. The man, gee whiz, Justice Michael Lee, representing the man, I'd say nearly 10.
Yeah.
Nearly 10 have gone against him, and that's really no way to treat a man. The man who owns Australia.
That's right. Have some deference. It has been a huge month in Pete Evans, with the craggy-faced conspiracy theorist selling his evolved sanctuary for an undisclosed amount of money under private treaty.
Wow.
Now, that's just a fancy way of saying someone paid money for it after they agreed on a price. Private treaty. It's meaningless. The place is gorgeous. They're a bit out of the way. It's far to go to the shops. But the photos show the sprawling estate with a pool, sauna, spa, a couple of houses, all the rest, just casual. There are stacks of books in the photos, which feature all his favourite authors himself. You saw that coming. You saw that. I saw your face, and I was like, "Yeah,
Well,
you know where I'm going with this, don't you?
yeah.
You got this sussed out."
They're going to be thick on the shelves. Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty pathetic. So bizarrely enough, he's still spruiking retreats with spots available all the way into January for their Bitcoin retreat, where they go off grid to talk about Bitcoin, which makes no sense. It needs the internet. You've got no reception out there. Maybe you've got Starlink. You probably do. Who fucking cares? But it's a very long settlement. I mean, how long? Like, how? It's like
sometimes when
it's usually 6 weeks, right?
Significant. Yeah. Well, if you've got a property of fairly significant value, there can be hold-ups with probate, particularly issues around the land holding, and it's obviously fairly significant where
it's
the
a big fucking
are,
place,
all that sort of stuff. But and it might just be if it is a private arrangement, half now and half when you buy, whatever.
Yeah, that checks out. Well, look, the moral of the story is Pete has even more money now to invest in Bitcoin, spend on grass-fed salmon, trips to see his bestie Bobby over in the USA. I think that's nice. I think it's really nice. And it's always good after a feel-good episode of seeing Nazis get nailed to the wall that, don't worry, there are lots of examples of shit people doing really well for themselves. Don't you worry.
Thank God.
Evil still wins the day.
Forget about that arc of the fucking universe, folks.
Yeah. Karma isn't a thing. Get over it. So, of course, the real headline news is that Pete left the house and forgot his shirt.
Did he?
Fuck. Whoops.
Did he?
Oh, no. Left in the laundry. Yes, the paparazzi snapped Pete looking disheveled.
Disheveled. Was he described as disheveled?
He was described as disheveled. So needlessly cruel. I don't know why tabloid journalists are like this. Like, he didn't look that bad. Like, he doesn't look like Hunter Biden, but, like, he didn't look that bad.
I'm going to go with disheveled.
Oh, and he was barefoot. Walking the streets barefoot.
Like Jesus.
Perish the thought. Especially
you
in a beach town.
You remember when he visited the Senate?
Yeah, that's right.
I forget, was it Crackers invited him in? I can't remember.
I think it was Crackers, yeah. And he scrubbed up fairly well.
I just wondered if he was going to turn up with the bare feet and just go, hey, everybody.
Just be like, hey, guys.
Do I just get through security here? Hey, I'm not wearing boots or,
To be fair,
not hiding anything in between my toes.
The times I used to go to Parliament House with old mate, when I went through the reps entrance, I was dressed like shit. Anyway, so look, news.com.au really does love any opportunity to hang shit on Pete Evans, and this was absolutely no exception. So the article leads with this.
Just love the way this starts. Controversial Australian chef Pete Evans has shocked fans. Not dishevelled. He's controversial in this occasion.
Dishevelled's coming.
Dishevelled is coming. After appearing dishevelled and barefoot while shopping, I presume, in northern New South Wales.
The article had shipping. I'm sorry. It's just
shipping.
And you know what?
Shipping steel.
This is why we need sub-editors, to make sure that Pete's articles are free of typos.
That's I'd like to think I would have picked that up. The 52-year-old chef and former My Kitchen Rules host has a fractured relationship with fame, I should say, previously detailing how he felt he went from being celebrated and adored and just loved by everybody to being hated by the Australian public.
It just feels like a lot
so
of...
They've actually... Can I just quickly do this?
Yeah.
Controversial, dishevelled, barefoot, and just despised by the Australian public. That's what they've slipped in there in the space of, 30 words?
It's so savage. I don't think... Like, we heap shit on him for good reason. This is just bullying. At least we show our reasoning.
Looking dishevelled.
It's just schoolyard bullying. But look, it is what it is. So despite Pete being in decent shape and likely shirtless because he just went for a surf, not exactly controversial behaviour, I'm not here to defend Pete Evans because he's a bigoted piece of shit. But the snappers managed to get photos of him looking very frowny and sort of flustered and confused. Which
had the old 3-day growth as well.
Yeah, I mean, Dishevelled. Like what? Like he needs to go to a fucking board meeting? The guy lives in the middle of nowhere. He's loaded and he's got a supermodel wife. Like, why would he even leave the house except to go for a surf anyway? Fuck this. So the issue here is that it's a complete stitch up, but I can't be upset because it just couldn't have happened to a nicer person.
I just love it. God bless the media. Evans appeared downcast
Yes.
So he's dishevelled,
Downcast.
despised.
He's sad.
And barefoot. And he appeared downcast as well as he ran his hands through his hair and walked through the streets running errands.
Yeah. Perish the thought.
Here they go. It's been a rough few years for Evans, who has since exited the limelight, not entirely by choice.
Not entirely by choice.
That is just a slapping, isn't it?
Isn't it just rude? Like, I mean, and it hasn't really been that rough. Like, his net worth has probably quadrupled through real estate and Bitcoin investments. He's mates with Bobby Jr., who holds the levers of power. He's released a Maha cookbook, which appears to be self-published by Maha Books, but the digital version via Amazon is being flogged by Simon & Schuster.
Huh.
And that makes me think maybe he's edging toward back, the mainstream publishers, because like this might just be an Amazon thing, right? Like maybe Kindle and Simon & Schuster have like an agreement. But
yeah,
like,
I'm not sure.
But Pete Evans, like he did a book with Simon & Schuster on gut health and one on making pizza. Not on doing cocaine while making pizza, but that's allegedly. But they've got a history. They have history. So, like, I wouldn't rule it out. But Pete's also back on social media,
Hooray.
Not that anyone really gives a shit. But he's mostly just posting photos of food with vague ingredient lists, and that's cool. I don't actually mind that. True to form, each plate cost a fortune to make, though. I mean, I saw one post featuring grass-fed Scotch fillet steak alongside chestnut and lion's mane mushrooms, whatever the fuck they are, with some rosemary, garlic, and wakame fucking apple cider vinegar.
That's normally a Sunday dinner around here. Who forgot to buy the lion's mane mushrooms?
Well, that's why you're such a fucking idiot, because you're not eating the mushies.
It just ruins it if they're not there.
Well, the reason why I say that is because lion's mane mushrooms actually do have a positive health effect for your brain. Apparently, this is something that's been studied. Like, it's probably incremental, but like it's noticeable, which is cool. The vinegar, bargain at twice the price, $17 for 200 mils. Thanks, Pete. Can't leave that out, though. The lion's mane mushies, they could be worth their weight. There's good things there. $12 for 150 gram punnet.
150 grams. Oh, yeah, what's that? It's about 5 ounces.
That's a kilo of mushrooms not on special. That's dumb. Anyway.
It's not a kilo. A long way from a kilo.
A $12 a kilo mushrooms is totally normal.
For 150 gram punt. Oh, is it? Okay, I don't buy
Yeah, if you get like normal mushrooms from Woolies, they should be like $9. But that's another story. So look, it goes out saying that Maha stands for Make Affluence Healthy Again, because nobody can afford this shit. And while lion's mane mushrooms might delay your inevitable decline into mental oblivion in old age, the real answer to health is having a shitload of disposable wealth. That's how you do it. And look, it turns out Pete's got plenty. He just sold his sprawling estate for an undisclosed amount, which has more digits than I've got in my capacity. He's got another place, I think. I think this is just his fucking weekender. Fucking psycho. So his mate Bobby Jr. was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and we know that. He's a Kennedy. He's done absolutely nothing to make healthy food more accessible to working Americans, and that's just how Pete likes it. I mean, he's moaned loudly about how ultra-processed food is poison, but he's done literally nothing to make it easier to avoid. Nothing.
They're coming out with something which I think Dr. Oz was talking about. They keep talking about we're going to overcome, we're going to supersede the nutrition triangle,
and
that got superseded
years ago.
By Barack Obama's lovely wife, Michelle. What are we talking about? I think about 2008 or 2010, let's say.
But this is such a Genius Bannon-esque thing they do, where they take things that have already happened and take credit for them.
Yeah.
And people go, that's really good. And you're like, that's been happening for 2 decades. You're a fucking idiot. But they don't hear that last bit. All they hear is Dr. Oz fixed the food pyramid.
He fixed it.
Idiot. Yeah. So look, the issue here is, of course, thanks to podcasts and Joe Rogan and just general toxic nonsense, the conservative side of politics is now just full of temporarily embarrassed millionaires dying to subscribe to wellness nonsense. And in doing this, they're just happy to spend money on vinegar that they actually don't have and they can't afford. But they do this because they think that if they somehow have wakame vinegar, they're going to live forever. And they're not. You're not. Spoiler alert. It's not helping.
$17 vinegar is not. It's not the answer to basically immortality.
I'll do the Pepsi challenge with you fucking idiots and see if you notice, and I bet you fucking don't. In the meantime, of course, Pete and his craggy face are eating well. And, of course, he's doing his job by helping others do the same, if they can afford the fucking ingredients.
Well, I would say he does look a little bit dishevelled.
He looks a little bit dishevelled.
A little bit dishevelled.
I would kill for that body fat percentage.
He's had a rough few years, and he appears downcast and barefoot, Joe.
I would trade rigs. He's very low on muscle, but he's also low on body fat. He's doing good.
You have been listening to the Conditional Release Program with your host, Jack the Insider, Joel Hill.
Yes, you have. And Jack can be found on Twitter at Jack the Insider and Joel at Crunchmose with a K. We set up a Facebook page. You find fairly easily. It's a shitposting group. We talk about it every now and then. It's great. It's really good.
Yeah, we have a Patreon.
It's a good community. We do have a Patreon. It'll keep things going.
It'll help keep us sustainable. Look, we gave you all the details before.
Exactly.
So hit us up on Patreon. It is the Conditional Release Program. And for as little as $5 a month, you'll have access to all sorts of bonus content. Including a weekly premium.
Ooh, don't say weekly. That's misleading. Intercept your conduct
that is
Section
a
18
serious
you on
breach of
that.
contract right there.
Nah,
including a premium episode that we like to call Black Label because
and we
I'm
do
an
every
old
now and
pornographer.
Yes,
we try to make
exactly.
it worth your while.
We still need to do an episode on all your fucking porn mag adventures and get Pat Sheil on as a guest. That'd be very funny, actually. I'll be down with that. And finally, all feedback, tips, and death threats should be sent to the Conditional Release Program at gmail.com.
Yes.
We would love to hear from you, even if it's just to tell us that you've been photographed at the shops without a shirt or shoes. And quite frankly, it wasn't pretty because you may be a little bit portly. But hey, maybe portly, but at least our faces aren't craggy.
Don't go out looking dishevelled.
Don't look out dishevelled. And don't run your hand through your hair, lest it be interpreted as some kind of sense of malaise.
Looking downcast.
So fucking
after
dumb.
a rough couple of years.
Oh my god! I like to think we're above that standard of just
no, we're really not.
No, we're not.
All right, folks. All right. See ya.
Thanks, guys.
I don't think I ever want to talk to any of those people.
Fuck me! You guys are